I am sitting here with Andres, the owner of San Marco Botanica. He is an Iyawo, which means that he is a newly initiated priest into the Santeria tradition. So, Iyawo, how did Orisha worship come to exist in the diaspora?
Okay, so first thing I want to say thank you for choosing the time to interview me. I feel, honored and everything. Even though I'm a Iyawo, I'm not going to say I know everything. I'm just answering these questions to the best of my ability and from my own personal knowledge or my personal experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So the first question, how the Orishas worship come into existence in the diaspora? Well, from the diaspora, the Orisha worship comes to the New World or to the islands in Cuba or Brazil or Haiti, Santo Domingo, and to other places, and comes from, the slave trade. Usually Orisha worship, comes over known to the Yoruba tribe, of the Yoruba people.
Mm-hmm.
And there was other slaves taken from other parts. You have slaves from the Congo, or, slaves from Benin or Benin land and Togo, that formed other types of religions. But when we talk about Santeria or La Regla De Ocha, comes mainly from the Yoruba tribe. Okay, so it comes from the New World, from the slave trade, and comes to the United States over time as people start coming from Cuba and from Santo Domingo with the Loa, which is more based on in Benin practices or voodoo. Comes with immigration, and people start bringing it here to New York and to Florida. It all comes from the diaspora, from the slave trade. It comes to the New World from that.
Thank you. So, what is your favorite story about an Orisha?
One of my favorite stories, or the stories of the Orishas known as the Pata Kings, one that I was told since I was a kid, since I was 7, 8 years old. The story was told to me, and I was fascinated about it. It was actually a story about Chango, and Chango, and the story, the way that it was told to me by my godparents, or the way that I was told this Pata King was, one time there was a party going on in Orula's house, and all the Orishas were invited, and all the Orishas showed up to this party except Chango. Chango was off in another land, fighting a war, but he was coming, he was just late. Okay, and so all the Orishas are at Orula's house, and Orula gives them, a calabaza, or what we call it, like a pumpkin, for them as gifts. And all the Orishas, leaving Orula's house because the party's finished already, still Chango, is on his way. He doesn't get there. He's not there yet. Say to themselves, why did Orula, give us pumpkins? Well, what's this pumpkin? Oh, pumpkins, what is this? And so them, not really caring, after they had that party and they ate everything, they threw the pumpkins outside. They just left it. We want this. We don't care this. And so Chango finally gets to Orula's house after everyone leaves, and he knocks on the door and he says, "I'm so sorry, I'm so late, but at least said I was coming. I'm here, and no, I'm hungry. I need something." And Orula says, "No, it's okay. You don't have to apologize. We notice." He said, "But why are all these pumpkins here on the corner?" And Orula sees all the pumpkins and he tells Chango, "Take them. They're all yours." And because Chango was like, "Can I have them? Can I take these? Because I need something." So yeah, sure, take them. Orula says, "Take all of them." When Chango takes all the calabazas, takes all the pumpkins, he brings it home with him, he opens them up, and he feels they're filled with money and riches.
Wow.
Gold. And that was Orula's gift to everyone, and they didn't want it. So that's where they say Chango gets his part of his riches from. And the calabaza is sacred. And for a lot of people, especially children of Chango or Ochun, in general, the calabaza is sacred. It has a lot to do with Ochun as well, but that they don't eat them or they can't cut them. They don't carve pumpkins. They don't open them up. They don't cook with them because it's sacred. It represents, it has the abundance and prosperity of the Orishas, or especially the Chango. Okay. And the story comes, the Pata King is told in many different ways. Some have heard it also, that Chango would plant pumpkins and they grow, and that's how he got his riches. Or one time he was given seeds, and then they were told to plant them. He was like, "Well, I'm going to plant this, but I don't need pumpkins." And he did so, and he opened them up, and they were filled with gold and they were filled with money. So that's where that comes from. That's one of my favorite stories, because I'm saying it teaches us, although the Pata Kings may not be literal, maybe they might show aspects of the Orisha's lives when they were on Earth. But it's all symbolic, you know. Don't take things for granted.
Yeah.
It's so small. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
When you're told to do something, when you're given something, you know, it's for a reason. When Orula, especially, or the Orishas, you know.
Exactly.
So everyone was supposed to see Chang open up and say, what? You got all that stuff.
But you
It's
could have had it
want
too.
it. You didn't want it.
it.
But
So
that's one of my favorite stories. There's a lot of Pata Kings, a lot of beautiful Pata Kings. Like I always said, the Pata Kings, some of them are crazy and they shouldn't be taken literal. They're just stories to teach us.
It's like fables.
Yeah, fables to teach us, you know, or have proverbs, you know, things.
So it's
for
just
us
a
to
meaning.
learn,
Yeah.
to live our lives better. You know, some of the Pata Kings teach us about how the Orishas lived or what things they did, and some of them weren't actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, I don't want to get into too much into detail or whatever because it could get crazy. But it doesn't mean we live like the Orishas. It means we live ourselves better because at the end of the day, the Orishas are teach us to be better people.
Yeah.
You know, to have Iwapele, which Iwapele means good karma
character.
and good character.
Yeah.
That,
Okay.
you know, it's important. And that's what at the end of the day, Bata Kings should actually try to teach us or show us. But we don't live in the footsteps of the Orishas, we live better. But like, then again, like I said, they're not literal. They're just stories to teach us.
Yeah, exactly. So, thank you for that. The next question is, what is the nature of the Orisha, and in what way do you feel like they are misunderstood?
Okay, so to me, the nature of the Orishas, some people like to envision them as, you know, beings, you know, gods, deities, or they are deities. But to me, the Orishas are aspects of nature. Okay, so Chango is thunder, lightning, masculinity, or Yemaya would be seen, you know, as the oceans, or Shun as the river or sweet waters, or Ya is air, you know, and storms, and the Orishas are nature. And the way that they're misunderstood, or I would think people misunderstand as like worshiping the Orishas or being a follower of this faith or being initiated, or, you know, will bring you power, bring you, you know, abundances. And, you know, to me, this faith is like any other faith. You know, we should always live, like I said, Iwapele, good character, good karma, and havers. You know, we're not promised anything. This is not about money.
Yeah.
And then they misunderstood about, you know, you should worship these things. You give, you know, you honor them and everything. That it makes your life, you know, it to me has improved my life a lot, and it's given me my life more meaning. It's fulfilled me a lot. But other than this is not, you know, it doesn't, you know, make you rich. This does not, you know, give you power. You don't become a witch, or, you know, you have these supernatural powers. No, it's all not true. That's all. But I think that's how it's misunderstood, or people misunderstand the religion as, you know, something as witchcraft or something, and it's really has nothing to do anything about. Even though there's might be magic involved, or you know, symbolically, or, you know, transformation of energy or whatever. But that's in all religion. There's always some mysticism, you know, part of it, but it doesn't make you more powerful as a person. To me, it brings more knowledge. It makes us understand more our ancestry, understand who we are, the secrets. You know, there are a lot of secrets in life, or understanding to life. But I think that's one of the misunderstood things. But the Orishas are nature, aspects of nature. Orisha, you know, they're the owners of consciousness, owners of the heads. Orisha, that's what the name means, from what I understand. But they're aspects of nature. That's what, to me, who they are, what they are. And I always believe that we should honor nature, because nature is what gives us everything. And I believe a lot of the problem that we have now in this world these days, no one takes care of nature, or no one honors it anymore. That's what our ancestors back in the day, but, you know, pre-Christianity, that's all we did.
Exactly.
We had different types of everywhere.
Yeah.
And as more time goes on, you know, we fall out of that, and that's not good.
Yeah.
A lot of people are inventing a lot of stuff, where it's not right. But the Orishas are nature, aspects of nature.
Like, you can't say that you worship, or that you respect Yemaya and then litter in the ocean,
which is her, which she is the ocean, you know, which is the ocean water. You know, some people imagine her as a mermaid. You know, all this stuff is symbolic. Maybe she might, you know, but herself is, you know, the ocean waters. To me, that's how I like to look at it. Or going to a river and dirtying the river and dumping your garbage and, you know, all this bio waste and everything, you know?
Yeah.
Or not loving and honoring the trees, which are all sacred and whole secrets. or going to the woods where where Eshu lives, or where Ogun, they say, lives, or Chosi, or Sain, and all these other beautiful Orisha spirits, or even the Egun. Some people believe that the ancestors live in the woods, or chopping them down. You know, it's not right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So, can you give an example of how you've seen the Orishas greatly help you or someone that you know?
Ever since I was a child or involved in the religion, or, you know, I've seen a lot of stuff. But the Orishas have helped me a lot. To me, you know, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of them save people's lives, or cure people, take away, you know, people who've done, you know, received Orishas or received things in the religion and just made a 360 turn, 360 or 180, a complete change in their life. But for me, the Orishas have brought peace, paz. You know, I'm crowned Obatala, and Obatala is, you know, the owner of peace. And I just, after, I think, or during now, I've felt more of a big change of the way my outlook on life, things that I used to want, or things I used to, you know, feel, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's just went away. He's brought a lot of peace to me and made me look at things differently, even though that I'm a Iyawo and only have a couple of months in my Yawarai, but I've seen things much more different, I believe. And the Orishas bring change. You know, I've seen the Orishas or messages given by the Orishas bring tears to people's eyes, or, you know, make them change their lives completely. And the Orishas are very big. They're big energies, and so obviously inviting them into your life is going to always bring a lot of change. But for me personally, Obatala has opened my eyes, brought me peace. You know, I think he's trying to make me to be a better person, a better father, a better, you know, person to the public in general. You know, has made me, you know, brought certain aspects of the way that I look at life too differently. It changed me a lot.
That's good. That's beautiful. So, what is the role of ancestors in this tradition, or how are they viewed in relation to us and to the Orishas?
Okay, well, the ancestors we call Egun, Egun with the Eeggun. Egun, not Ogun, or spelled Florida. Some people get that confused. I don't know how. Anyway, so the Egun are very important to us. Our ancestor worship, or they you know, it's sometimes the Egun or the ancestors are prayed to before even Eshu, before even, you know, the Orishas themselves. They give more importance, and to me, they're very important. Me just before, you know, getting involved inside the religion completely, or me before getting crowned, I've always been a mortero or espiritista. I've always seen spirits. I've always seen the dead. Always seen things move around. Ever since I was a child, ever since I was 5 years old. That's when I actually started, you know, 7 to 8. I actually started reading people. I was able to see things about them and everything, things standing around them. But the Egun or the ancestors come. The worship of that comes before the honor or the libation given to them is done before any Orisha. So they are very important, and our ancestors or the Egun has made way for us. They're the ones who left these traditions. They're the ones who brought, you know, through slavery or bringing and saving this religion, making it even to adapt into a new one. Because obviously the way that we practice it has a lot of similarities. You know, there's a lot of things that are done in Africa still, but there's also different maybe things that are not done in Africa, but that our ancestors have preserved. It's very important. You know, to me, I've always, in my way of thinking, you know, without our ancestors, without Egun, there wouldn't be even God, because who teaches us how to pray? Who shows us how to? Our grandparents, or who leaves pieces of, you know, who preserve these traditions and bring this into, you know, for us, or saves it for us. So that's how important the ancestors are. Without that, it's not important.
Yeah.
You know, we always remember the people before us, or the people we loved, mostly. You know.
And they created the way for us to even connect with God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because who taught us how to pray? Who wrote down these prayers? Who wrote down, who preserved these rituals, or, getting crowned? Or were our ancestors? If there wasn't for them, or teaching to the next person, while they were alive, and then going, nothing would exist. That's to me. They're preserved. Without them, maybe God wouldn't even exist. I don't know. That's what I mean, because where, and if you actually sit down and think about it, who really, shows us how to do things, or showed us, our people before us, our bloodlines before us, our ancestors. They left the stepping stones for us, they left us the path. And we keep going, and they're always present, they're never gone. Now, a piece of them, always stays, goes back to the other side, and the piece of them always stays with us. Always. And the energy and their energies never get destroyed. Our souls never get destroyed. They're always constantly here. And they always come back. And like I said, the Egun, or ancestors, preserved all this for us. And for us to follow. And now these days, people making other stuff up, other stories that are kind of forgetting them, or forget where their forefathers, or forget what the ancestors left for them, or fought so hard for us. Yeah. Well, it was for a reason. It's not for nothing. Yeah. Everything's for a reason. That's why we need to get back on track and connect with our Egun, or connect with our ancestors, or connect with nature, or connect with Orisha, in order for us to live better lives. Because without that, we're all going to be lost. Without that, I believe heavily that this world, or nature, start to act up even more. There will be more, more disease, more pandemics, more suffering. Because if we're confused, if we don't know our paths, nature is confused. Then everything else comes out of place. We're all connected. Everything's connected. And like I said, the Orishas have fought very hard for what we have.
It's beautiful.
Awesome.
So, Iyawo, what is the role of Botanica owners in our community?
Okay, Botanica owners are here to serve the community. The whole point of a Botanica is to supply the supplies everyone needs to practice these religions, or to keep these. And sometimes the Botanica serves also. And the name Botanica means plants, botanicals. They sell a lot of the herbs needed for the rituals. Not only for the rituals or for the ceremonies, but also for medicine. The first Botanicas were made for that. Or actually, just to give other terms of medicine, has nothing actually. The first botanicas were never even meant for spiritual needs. They all actually first served the West Indian community. And that's for what the research that I've read was to serve, all these plants and things, soursap leaf, that everyone used to use back home for the medicine.
For healing.
That were healing. That's what the first botanicas. And over time, then start to come in and mixing the saints into the religious aspects, into supplying. But the botanica is here to serve the community, to supply all the needs that for all these religions, not only for Santeria or Regla De Ocha, but for Ifa, for 21 divisions, for voodoo, for there's many different, other religions that come from different parts, different countries. Because here in, obviously, in New York, or in the United States in general, especially here in New York, it's a mixing pot. Everyone's here. Yeah. So a botanica in New York has to serve a lot of different, that's why you go to different botanicas, you get different feels for them. This one's more to a division, this one more has to do with Ocha, or more for Santo, or this one, but a good botanica should, appeal to everybody, because everyone is just so diverse here now. Well, botanica should just give good service in supplying, the needs that they need, the supplies that they need.
All right. So next question is, do you believe that our community would be better as a whole if people were more open to these traditions?
Yes, but that's, something very hard to achieve. There's always going to be people who disagree or don't agree or see eye to us, that's just normal. But I think it would be better if people would be more accepting, there's a lot of people, like under the quotation, this all has to do with witchcraft, or it's magic, or there's which is all, it's not true. It has nothing. This is a faith. It's a religion, and it's very antique. It's older than any other religion. It's older than Christianity. It has its, even though now Santeria has a lot with the Catholic saints and everything, but that was to preserve the religion. But it's older than that. It's much older than that. that's what I think. If people were more open or more understanding, or more willing to learn or willing to understand our faith, that things will be much better. But unfortunately, it's not the case these days. But like how I said, if people will open up to their eyes and learn what our ancestors left for them, what they fought for, and going back to things that are natural is natural release. Also, having Iyawo, a good faith to character, I think this world will be much a better place.
Yeah.
I believe so.
So, what advice do you have for people that are interested in this religion?
My advice is, first, don't believe everything you read. Everything you go on the internet that's out there, a lot of it is, not good information. There's a lot of it, there's a good chunk of it that is good and is correct, and there's a lot of it that's not. But the first things now these days are people just want to Google stuff and look things up. And a lot of it, the first thing that I was told when I was a child, don't believe everything you read. Now that the internet is here and everything, don't believe everything that you see on YouTube, or don't believe everything you see on Google. Yeah. A lot of it, obviously the secrets or the truth is never going to be revealed. It's never going to put out there. Yeah. There's a lot of it that is there that is false, and a lot of it that's true. But the main thing I want people to believe, people to look for is, look inside themselves, or go into their local Botanica, or asking, about some people who are initiated, and getting to know them, or people should, feel comfortable. People should feel comfortable with the people they're talking to about this. They should feel a connection with them. And they just have to be careful who they really talk to, because unfortunately, a lot of people who are involved in these, there's a lot of con artists and a lot of people who are just after money, then that's a big negative thing. They're not really true to their calling, or really true to their faith. And unfortunately, this not only have to do with our religion these days, it has to do with a lot of churches as well these days, especially born again Christian churches, evangelical churches. It's all of it's a money making scheme. It has nothing to do with actually helping your community, or helping the person, or help the person grow spiritually. And so that's what people have to be very careful for, or be careful with.
So how can people on their spiritual journey know if this religion may be right for them, and how should they approach it as a non-initiate?
Well, the way that they'll know it's right for them, they'll feel it. They need to, obviously it's always good to ask questions. You get but be careful where you ask the question and get the right answers for them. But they need to feel comfortable with it, and to feel it in their hearts. Everyone who has questions about it, or has a basic interest of it, they always will. There's a lot of people who want to know more about it. Maybe they might not be interested in initiating it or following, but they question. So the best thing is talking to people, to trying to understand, doing research. And then again, like I said, be very careful for everything that you read is not true. But talking to, or getting to know people, or finding a good santero or santero, or babalao, or Hugun or Mambo. Some people might not be very comfortable opening up just with anybody. They're gonna keep a lot of things to themselves, but to getting a feel for it. And I know it's hard for a lot of people, getting in contact with these type of people, or to finding out who's genuine or who's true. And because, like I said, unfortunately, there's a lot of con artists out there. A lot of people who don't have any initiation, and they throw themselves off to be something that they're really not. So people, they have to be cautious about that. They have to be careful. But I believe that people who are interested or looking for that have a calling for it. Not everyone has a calling to be a priest or a priesthood, but everyone has who, if you have the general interest in it, to get to know more of the religion, get to know of it yourself.
Okay. So, what should people look for in a spiritual teacher or a godparent when it comes to this religion?
I understand for a lot of people it's very hard to find maybe priests or priestesses, or finding a padrino or madrina or babalao, because at the end of the day, people, want to make sure and they don't get caught up in, fake stuff, but at the end of the day, when you're looking for somebody, you should always, make sure that they have time for you, or they show time. And sometimes at the end of the day, we live in a crazy world right now where we don't have time at all. And a good padrino, a good madrina should make not everything about money, but should make themselves available. Make themselves available to talk, to hear your questions. I mean, sometimes they can't answer everything because like a lot of things, and people might want to know it might be secrets and things are concealed until you get initiated. But should be make themselves available to to answer your questions and make time for you, because I've been through seen a lot of people go. I've heard a lot of stuff that people go to these places or maybe go to a botanica or they get a consulta and everything's just about money. They want this and that, but they should feel comfortable. They should feel warm. They should feel connected with the person that they have. They should feel connected with the padrino or the madrina. They should, and the person should be very humble. You should look at the person as well. Let's see what kind of lifestyle they live. You don't want anybody who is dealing with drugs or dealing with things that I've heard a lot of crazy things and I've seen a lot of crazy things. But remember, like I said, iwapele, good karma, good character, living in a good a good way is very important, and that should be your godfather, godmother. They should be stabilized. They should have keep their heads up. They should dress. They should have the stuff together. You can't save anybody if you're not saved yourself. You can't help anybody if you're living like crap. If you're homeless, how are you gonna? They might have knowledge and everything, but how are they're gonna really help that person? That's what I mean. That's my personal belief. That's what I tend to think. I could be wrong, but I think that's also important. The godparent, should be stabilized. They should have things going good for them in life, and healthy, and in order for them to help the person. And be there to answer questions and have time. Now everything's about money. You should also maybe get a consulta with them and feel it out and see how you feel with them, see your connection, and see what they have to tell you. And then from there on, your relationship grows. If you feel comfortable, you should feel within inside yourself. Always listen to your intuition, because I always have a big feeling. If you are, have a calling for this religion, you're also very intuitive. There's something inside of you that's calling you, and so you'll feel the connection with the godparent. You'll feel it. But like I always said, the godparent should have time. They should example patience and show patience, and not lose their temper so quickly, etc., etc. That's so
your godparents should set an example for you,
exactly.
For
example
their
for you to make
godchildren.
it. You want a godparent who is
that you can look up to.
Look up to, exactly, and to teach you good iwapele. Have their stuff together, has their lives together. They have their own place. They're not living with a bunch of roommates. They don't live in their parents' house, or people who are homeless. It's not. They should be stabilized. They should be good, and they should be good. Have a good family. Come from and show example like that, and live that. Be good people. Show love. Show caring. Show charity. That's what to me is a good person for you to learn from. For that you could learn from. So they could teach you.
So, because a lot of people come into the religion looking to be more stable and to have a better life, and so if you come into the religion looking for that, but your godparent isn't like that, then how can you get it?
Right, exactly.
Okay. So, my last question is, how can connecting with nature help people who are interested in this tradition?
Well, you should always connect. Usually people who are initiated or involved in this religion just love nature. They like being by the riverside, like being at the beach and just listen to the waves move. It's very important to take time to visit nature, to connect yourself. Not maybe even for for a sacrifice or for offering, but just to be there and to clear your mind. It's important to meditate. And I'm not just saying you sit there and cross Indian position. No, that's not meditation. You're just sitting there with a clear mind and listening to nature, listening to everything move around to you. Is very important. Being present and feeling the vibrations of the ground, feeling the vibrations of the water, feeling the vibration. You're connecting yourself with that spirit or with that energy that's there. And trust me, if we all connect with nature, we all take that time of the day to take a walk through the wood, through a track in the woods, or go visiting the river, or going to the wood, to the beach, or going up a mountain. It makes our lives much better. You'll see after you leave there a difference in yourself, more at peace. It's very important to do that. That's where the Orishas are. Remember, like how I said, the Orishas are aspects of nature, they're parts of nature. So
exactly.
That's where their houses are. That's where they really are.
So when you connect with nature, you connect with the Orishas too.
Exactly. Even though we have our Orishas in our houses, we receive them, and we have them, but they're real. They're in those parts of nature. And to me, it's always important. to take that times out of our busy life and connect it with that. It's hard these days, but we should always make time for that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. I feel very honored for you taking this time out for me, and wanting to interview me. Like I said, I don't know everything. I'm not, I'm just like, I don't know everything, but to me, I think I answered the questions to the best of my ability from my own experiences.
Yes, I appreciate the wisdom that you've been able to bestow, and I'm sure that it's going to help a lot of people.
Ashe.